This podcast is proud to be part of the Talk Sport Fan Network.
Talk Sport. Powered by fans.
The Talk Sport Fan Network is proudly supported by McDelivery, bringing you the food you love. McDelivery brings a top-tier lineup of food right to your door. No matter the result, you'll always be winning with McDelivery. Order now on the McDonald's app and you'll get rewards points delivered too. So that ordering today means some tasty rewards for tomorrow. Only via app at participating restaurants. 18 plus. Rewards registration required. Points only on menu items. Delivery fee and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
Of course, now the season that's finished. We're Birmingham City. We've got no manager. Jude Bellingham's gone. We've retired his shirt. We staved up relegation by one place yet again. Simply not good enough. Not good enough now. Not good enough next season. We've just got to write this one off now and crack on. And hopefully the fans will be back soon. Well, it's been a strange old season, ladies and gents. I'm sure you're aware. And tonight we're joined with Mrs. Browne. Mr. Robe.
Hello. Hello, everyone. You all right?
Mr. Sheen.
Good evening, all.
My good self, and of course, Mr. Pringle. Liam Ridgwell.
That's a good it's the best introduction I've had in a while. Cool.
that is one hell of a moustache, mate. Promise you. That's
I'm trying.
Proper quality. Oh, God, blimey. Where do we start? I mean, we've got an hour and a half, and I just, Chris, I genuinely don't know where to start. Oh, golly. What a painful, horrible, vile football season that was from pretty much start to end.
Yep. I think most people are glad it's finished.
We're the second biggest city in the country, and I keep saying it, and I keep saying it, and I keep saying it. And we just managed to stave off relegation every year. It's not going to continue because Lady Luck will not smile on you all of the time. So we have to do something, and that something has to be done now. Now, we need announcements from the club as to what their plan is going forward. Your thoughts, Paul?
Exactly what you've just said, Nick, to be honest. I mean, we can keep saying the same thing over and over again every week, but, you know, for as long as the problem's there, it's never going to go away. I genuinely think that, you know, we could employ Jurgen Klopp tomorrow and he'd still struggle.
Yeah, no, if I had a quid for every time you'd said that, mate.
Yeah. But it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's the way, unfortunately, that's the way we are being run. You know, and until that changes, then nothing's going to change.
Liam, I'll come to you. What do you think about the demise that's happened over the last 10 years?
Yeah, it's a massive shame. I think any club that gets relegated and doesn't come straight back up, it's a massive struggle. And I think we've seen that year after year with teams that have gone down. I think obviously that's what probably kills a lot of people that were there playing at the top in the Premier League and winning the Carling Cup and things like that, and seeing the club go down and not return again. But like you said, I think year on, year out, it can't keep continuing. It can't keep staying up by a point.
It's a whisper. It's a whisper every single season. You know, I mean, our owner was put into prison for fraud, right? We've just had manager after manager after manager. It's just been joke after joke after joke. And the only people that always suffer is me, him, and everybody else out there.
Of course, as well. And, you know, I don't make you wrong. All the fans are suffering. And you know, I know a lot of people talk about players. Players are suffering as well. You know, they go to Birmingham City wanting to put the club back where it should be and wanting it to be great again and wanting it to be competitive again. And I'm sure
Leeds have managed it.
You are?
Leeds have managed it.
Leeds have managed it, absolutely. I think, you know, they've had the investment, the players, the manager and they've seen the rewards for it. They've seen, you know, that's been stuck behind it. And I think that's what we need to get a manager in there that works, which is very difficult, and getting players in there that want to come there and want to play for the football club and want to stay there to make sure they get back to it.
And Leeds are the prime example, aren't they? I mean, it's took them, 16 years to get back to the Prem?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And the league is very, very tough. But when managers keep coming and going...
We can't just keep leaking results like we've done since lockdown.
No, you can't.
That's been woefully shameful.
When managers,
managers
can't keep coming and going. Players can't keep coming and going. You need to start to form an identity, form a philosophy, form, all these tactical names and things like that. You need to form a team that is ready to compete and compete in the league. And that might not take next season, it might take 2 seasons, but you've got to stick with it and you've got to stick hard at it. And it needs to be a manager to come in with the right philosophy that Birmingham City play a certain way, whether that's passing, whether that's grafting, whether that's sticking players in there that just want to run every single week and work hard for the club to make sure that they try and compete and get back to where they should be.
Absolutely. Well, long before you finish your coaching badge.
Yeah, well, I'm right on it then, mate. So,
I mean, Liam, can I
if it's an interview,
sorry, Nick, can I ask Liam?
The next question I want to ask is, would you actually take the job in its current state?
Absolutely. Oh my God, yeah. Okay. I mean, absolutely. I think anyone, I think you ask even Guards, obviously at the club right now, and he's been in coaching there for the season, and he's been there the last 2-3 seasons, if I'm correct. I'm sure he would jump at the chance. I'm sure he'd love to have a bash at it. I'm not going to lie. It can be very difficult, and if you get stung by it, you can be scarred for your whole managerial career. But who wouldn't take it? Who wouldn't want to be?
Especially when you're a young bloke.
Of course, but look at it on a positive side, which I do and a lot of other people do. If you get it right, you bang on.
You've got to get it right. Oh, go on.
Sorry, I was going to ask you, Liam. You was at the club under obviously the Sullivan and Carson Young regimes. Was there much difference in the working environment being around the club as a player between the two?
Was there a working environment? Obviously, I came there with Steve Bruce. Now, obviously, Brucey had a side that, like I say, the grafting side, the 6, 7, 8 out of 10 players every single week. You didn't get these big dips of highs and lows. He formed a team that was ready to compete, he knew the job that he wanted, he knew the player he wanted, and he went after it. So he formed that team. Now, he went, and when Carson Young came in, there was that optimism that came around the club and with the players, the likes of Pavlyuchenko and people like that being talked about. But for us, it didn't really make a difference what was going on the board, because we had a team that was one together, one all grafted in the same way, whether it was staying up, whether it was getting promoted, whether it was winning the Carling Cup. So really, you didn't see much of a difference. You just saw little bits of a difference here and there with, say, money, wages. But you saw the demise of it when players came in on the money. They were, triple what was people already been there. That's when you start to see a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just jump in? Sorry, Paul. Liam, from the outside, sort of looking in, what were your thoughts on, for example, Pep last season? What did you think of Pep? And also, who do you think would be the ideal fit for Blues next season going forward?
Good question. Cool. Yeah. What did I think of Pep on the outside of it?
No, we don't put you on the spot on this show, mate.
Do you know what? I just saw a team that was struggling and just trying to go out there and graft results every single week. In the team, I think it was a struggle for identity, and I think it was one week it was sort of playing attractive football, and then it was sort of grafting to get results. It wasn't one or the other really, and that's what I saw. I'm not going to claim to see every game. Like I didn't get to see every game, but that's the sort of results that you started getting, and you've seen it so up and down. A manager going in there, I'd like to see a young, hungry sort of wanting to make sure that the club can go back in the right direction. But talking about young and hungry, it's difficult in then trying to attract the players that you need. They need experienced players in there, certainly through the core, to help these other young players through it. But the way of football nowadays, owners don't want experienced players. They want players that they can sell on. That doesn't always work in football. You need to mix them in with older pros, certainly in the Championship, to work hard. So can't even give you an answer for a manager. I'm not going to lie to you. Go and stick Craig Gardner in there and then see, you might get some hunger back in there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right. Cool. Right. Paul's got a very special question for you, Liam.
Wasn't
we ain't
me-
had
wasn't
special
me
questions
asking.
already. That's good, Ken.
So quite a few of our fans have said, did you really wipe your backside with £20 notes? And if so, why?
Right now.
I got this.
Go on, Liam.
It froze. It froze for a second. There you go.
Did you get the question?
No, I didn't. No, that's quite good. You must have cut me off on that bit. I must have looked like I was just ignoring it. That's
No. Go on, Paul.
I said that quite a few of our fans have asked the question about you wiping your backside with £20 notes, and a few of them have just asked why, if you did. Well, they're asking if you did it, and if so, why?
Allegedly, no, I didn't wipe my arse with £20 notes. That was really, really hurt, and it would be an absolute disgraceful thing to do. 2, it was a bet with one of my friends over an X Factor competition. I'd picked out the winner. I wish I was working with Simon Cowell now. I picked out the winner from the auditions who actually went on to win.
Right.
A ridiculous bet with him. And it was going on for so long. I was taking a Jimmy Riddle. He came in and went, you know what, you know where you can stick your money, and sort of like chucked it at me, just because I was hammering him for so long, chucked it at me. And so obviously then I'd gone, well, you can know where I'm going to stick your money type of stuff. I'm just going to go and spend it and whatever. The picture ended up on my BBM and his BBM. It was just a joke between friends, because I was joking that I'd taken his money off him because he was so tight with it. But obviously that made its way to people. Obviously it made its way to a certain newspaper, and then it went from strength to strength from there, really. So no, I didn't wipe my ass with it. It was a joke. It wasn't thousands of pounds as it was. It was it was £150, which I'm not saying is not a lot of money before people go on that one. I'm just saying it wasn't thousands of pounds that people like to make it out.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, I think I'd rather have had the paper version than these new plastic ones. Izal, Chris, do you remember that? Izal?
No. I'm not
the toilet paper used to have a shiny, it was like tracing paper, believe me.
Oh yes, of course, on the train stations. Oh yeah. That was crikey, yeah.
All right, Liam, let's go back to the Carling Cup then, mate. Wow, what a day. What's your recollections of it?
Oh, incredible. Still think about it now and talk about it now. Unbelievable. I recollect just going down and staying in the hotel in London, and night before, sorting out tickets and sorting out where the families were going to be, and suited and booted. I mean, everything that every young kid dreams about, and I always dreamed about, winning a major trophy. But, in my career, the way it went, it wasn't necessarily going to happen. You always dream about it, but it weren't necessarily going to happen. Villa, Birmingham, West Brom, you weren't necessarily going to win major honours. So it was an incredible thing to do, and something that as soon as we got to Wembley, and obviously Kari spoke about a lot, seeing Arsenal turn up in their tracksuits and, getting onto that pitch, and then, Alex saying, playing it, all he said was, we're going man to man. We're going to absolutely bully them and physically get into them. We'll go man to man.
Nothing than what any City fan wants up and down this country in every game. We don't want pretty football. Coming out that tunnel to that crescendo of absolute sheer noise, and I'm sorry to have been part of that. What was that? What was that for? I've got goosebumps thinking about it. What was that like for you?
Yeah, incredible. I've got the photo in my TV in my lounge of us standing there, and you've got the blue and white lines. Obviously, there was the red crap on that side, and there was the blue and white lines going all the way round. And as soon as you came out, you heard it, and you heard all Blues fans louder than them. And they
didn't sing at all.
That's why I'm smiling, because it was nah. It was incredible, because you know what? That they'd had major honours or whatever. This was our day, and that's what we said. It was our day, and we were going to make it our day. And it was amazing.
You know, when you said before the game they were coming out in the tracksuits and all the rest of it. Was there any sort of snide comments? Did you get the feeling they were like looking down the noses at us? You know.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd love to, but they didn't. It was just Arsenal. You know, they turned up in their tracksuits. For us, like I said, we got all our suits done. We were suited and booted. We were turned up to, I remember Liverpool, Man United, and Liverpool turned up in their white suits, and that's what you all dream of, getting these suits ready and getting going. They didn't do that. They just to us, they just thought, well, it's just another game. We'll get our tracksuits, get there, win it, and get home again.
Yeah, they thought, didn't they?
More motivation. We didn't need any more motivation, but Kari stuck a little cherry on top, and away we went.
Yeah. What a that iconic picture with him with the Villa fans as well.
What was it like at half time, Liam? When he obviously going in at half time at 1-1, and they just equalised, didn't they, just before? What was said at half time to come back and carry on the way we played in that second half? Because we were by far the better team on that day.
It was, and obviously Bo should have had a penalty. So it was sort of, it weren't disheartened. Like some teams might have come in and thought, we've lost our chance here, or that's gone. We were like, I don't even remember much being said. I just remember it just being, let's go again. I think we could have played for it at half time. It was just like, just keep going, boys. Don't worry about it. They don't fancy it. Just keep going. And the way we scored, obviously, it had a massive bit of luck to it. But I still felt we were deserved of what we were doing. And, we could have been, 2-1, 3-1, probably going at half time, maybe 2-1. So we still should have been in the lead. But it's Arsenal. So nothing was really said. It was just carry on, boys. Just keep going.
It is Arsenal, right? And at half time, I was where the Obafemi Martins goal was scored. If you're looking at that goal, I was right at the top in the corner flag. Okay, so right up in the.
I was there as well, yeah.
And the people around me just after half time were subdued, right? And at the top of my voice, I'm shouting me out at everybody, like, "Come on, we can do this. We don't sit quiet. We don't sit quiet." And everybody was like looking at me, and we started making a noise again, and it was like, come on. And there was hope, and there was belief, and there was fear, and there was every emotion running through mine and my three sons' bodies until that was at 84th, 85th minute or something like that, 86th minute. When Lady Luck strikes you, she strikes and she gives you that good opportunity. And Obafemi Martins put that away, and that celebration afterwards. It's just, I'm still there now. I'm still going through that emotion now, this minute, all these years later.
And we had the same. We had the fear of, this might be the only chance we get, or some of us may get. So take it with every. That's what we were saying. Take it with both hands and go out there.
From my point of view,
fear it.
From three children's point of view, there with me, and from everybody else's point of view on this Tilton Talk Show, and who were there on that night, the only thing I can say is thank you so much for that great memory. It just wow. At least we've got. Yeah.
And for us,
it's so surreal, though, isn't it?
Boys.
It's so surreal, even all these years later. 9 years later, it's just.
Yeah, I'm still
there.
I promise you, I can shut my eyes, right, and I'm actually still in that stadium listening to all that sound, and that's 10 years ago.
It's incredible,
yeah. It does. Yeah. It still lives on, and that's what them days are made for, and that's why it means so much, and that's why it still sticks with people, and that's why I say you get a group together that it means everything to everybody. It's something special, and that's why it sticks in everybody's minds as well.
Well, I loved the video you took afterwards, Liam. When they gave you the video at the end. Have you still got a copy of that? That was class. That was.
No, I've got the photo. I've got the photo of that me doing the video. I think the geezer was doing it, and I ended up taking it off him. But I've got the photo of it. I ain't got the video, which God knows what it would have been like. But all I've just got the photo of me having the video, which is quality.
Who was taking the video?
They gave Liam a handheld video at the end. Was it the Blues website?
I think it was, one of the young boys.
Oh, okay. Does anybody out there that knows what this video is, could we please get a copy to Liam?
It's brilliant.
Please send it over. Yeah.
And I know my good friend Courtney is there. As you just said, we're still the only team in the Midlands to lift a major trophy in the past 20 years. Craig, see what you can do about getting Liam a copy of this video, buddy.
Please do.
Paul, have we got some questions lined up, Paul?
I'm trying to. I'm having issues here connecting, but
okay.
I've got a few.
That's the dial up.
Somebody asked Liam, obviously for you en route to the final. We knocked obviously them up the road out in the quarter final. And how did that feel for you personally? Obviously having been there previously.
Yeah, do you know what? It was a great emotion and an unbelievable day. Obviously, I still had friends at the club, and I had people there that if we didn't win, I'd have been absolutely slaughtered. But it was great. Obviously, we knocked out our rivals to go on to win a major trophy.
Yeah,
they still heard from it. Believe me.
Yeah,
yeah, cool. But that's the way derbies go. I felt that when I was at Villa. I felt like that when we won derbies. I felt that as well, and that's what I think. Hopefully that's what endeared me to the Blues fans. That it wasn't just me just moving. I moved to play football and do something good for the club, and we managed to do that. There was a lot of downs as well, but there was a massive up. So it was great. Simply it was great. So
no, it was an iconic night, obviously, for a lot of reasons afterwards as well. Yeah. And my kids actually wanted to go to the pitch, but I don't think it's even worth talking about because I don't get involved in anything like that because just wrong. It's wrong. And my kids wanted to go on the pitch and celebrate, but man, did Dad shout that on or what? Did Dad shout on? And there was all three of them were there. And then that semi-final, that noise after that, with a "Que sera, sera," wherever we'll be. Oh, great, mate! What a night that was.
I just remember Nikola Zigic's long leg.
I was right down the front behind goal to the Tilton. Sorry.
Go on, Liam.
I just remember Nikola Zigic's long leg just getting onto that ball in the wet. That's all I remember. Just I think it was a cross in, and he ended up scuffing it into the ground and going over. It was like one of them things.
When it was Cameron who put that in there, Cameron Jerome.
Was it really? It
was Cameron Jerome, yeah.
So he knows everything.
Oh, he's got the memory of the Savannah
everything.
Was it with his left foot?
No, right.
Oh, how does he know that?
I thought he'd even cross it with his left foot. It would have been even more remarkable, which would have been quality.
What's his star sign, Paul?
I don't know that.
For that game, I was
the fastest player.
Tilton, and the chap who does security down there, and I still see him now. I was saying and he's going, you got no chance, absolutely no chance tonight. And you know what? Pulling that one off, and getting that passage to go down to the old smoke and show them what the blue and white army is all about was amazing. And I've still got to say credit and thank you to my son Luke, who spent 14 hours queuing for our tickets. 14 hours in the filthy cold February rain outside St Andrews.
We had a game. I don't know why we put a game on that day as well. Why we, sold the tickets on the same day as when we were playing Stoke at home. Yeah.
That was a weird.
I remember seeing like loads of people walking in the ground at half time that had been queuing for their tickets.
Yeah,
missed the first half.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they'd all been there. Some of them had been there since like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. And they were still there at 4:45, just going into the ground after queuing for their cup final tickets.
Crazy it was, yeah.
It's just madness.
I got a question from Sorry, I got a question from Ray. A question for Liam. Not asking you to pick the best, but did you find a difference between the fans at the clubs you have played for, or are they all the same?
No, they're not all the same. No. Some are louder than others, and some are louder than others all the time. I think Villa Park could definitely be louder. I think it's got louder this year, but I think before that it wasn't as loud. But their away fans were like incredible. I think they made a lot of racket. Birmingham, I think, obviously my time there in the most of the time in the Prem, I think were brilliant. There were down days, obviously, but I think most of the time they were brilliant. And the away fans, I think, obviously were great. West Brom fans, I think, were really good against the big teams, but expected a lot when you played the smaller teams, so they were quieter. But away fans were brilliant. All three clubs' away fans were brilliant, and you get that from most of the teams. But I think that's probably the difference, really.
I've had some mental away days. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. You know, the concourses. I love the concourses. All the beards being chucked in the air and everybody's singing and dancing down.
While you're on the floor.
I've got the questions up now. So yeah, Stephen Cowell's asking, Liam, what position did you prefer, playing left back or centre half? Because obviously you were centre half, weren't you? Then you went to left back. Yeah,
I loved playing centre half. I loved being there. I loved the physical side of centre half and being able to sort of smash through people and that. But when I came back and played at left back, I actually mentally thought, do you know what? If I'm playing left back, I'm playing left wing. I'm playing the whole side. So if I'm playing there, you're going to find me in the box at the back post. And so I really enjoyed left back, like really enjoyed it. It was more fun. But I did feel myself as a centre half, so it was just more fun at left back because you're a bit more involved. But I love centre half.
And so you got quite a few at the far stick, didn't you? I remember you arriving at the far post and getting quite a few goals that way.
You used to love it, yeah. Faddy used to sort of play sometimes on the right, and he'd sort of turn back out and just cross it, like just not even look and just whip it in, and sort of I'd end up like back stick. I think I got one against Spurs, one against Liverpool.
You scored against Derby in the cup, didn't you?
Derby in the cup as well. Yeah. So
weren't your best goal, but
no, that's right. I had a few cockings.
That actually leads us on nicely to the next question from Siobhan Kennedy. She's asking, out of the 11 goals you scored for Blues, what would be your top three and why?
Oh, good question. The one that I think my favourite one was probably away at West Ham in the Carling Cup.
In the Cup semi-final, yeah.
Semi-final. Yeah. That was probably the best one. The other one, probably the cock-in one against, I think it was Liverpool over Rayner.
Yeah.
As I remember it. And then I think we was away at Wigan. I scored sort of a volley. It was like a half volley or a volley. It was in the red kit. Them ones stand out in my head. I can't remember other ones.
You got a good one against Ipswich as well at home.
That's right. That's what I was trying to remember, that one. Yeah. I remember knee sliding on that one and thinking, call that they're the ones sort of stand out in my mind.
Yeah. And what would you say? What would you say was the best goal while you were on the pitch that was scored for us at St Andrews?
Zarate scored a really good one. Oh, can't remember. It was against
Everton. He
scored a
free kick.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think that was
Everton. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
How did he do it?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Zarate gave us so many special moments. I mean, what a player!
Yeah, it was quality, wasn't it?
Oh, amazing! And again, I mean, going back to it, clubs falling out of the Premier League. We were just about to sign him at the end of that season. He was just about to sign him, come to us.
That was when Roddy Joyner was dancing in front of the keeper, weren't it?
That's right. Yeah. Used to do that thing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, I mean, and Seba used to, Larson obviously used to, some free kicks, used to put some in. So there's probably so many ones. Stuart Parnby where he got fouled.
Yeah, and we could talk about away goals as well. Obviously, Cameron's at Liverpool away. Obviously, he was playing in that.
Yeah,
and also Seb Larson at Tottenham as well.
Yeah, I mean that at Spurs, that was incredible. That one at Spurs, I'm sure we won that day. I'm sure.
Yeah, 3-2. Yeah,
3-2. Incredible.
Question just coming from Alan Westall. He wants to know what it was like to play with Zigic alongside Zigic.
Do you know what it was? I mean, obviously, it was an unbelievable out ball. And I just felt we just lacked some confidence. I think he just lacked that sort of, confidence that we saw sort of in a World Cup. Great guy, wouldn't have a bad thing to say about him, but just, it was tough for him. That's all I'd say. It was tough for him. But you know what? He scored in the Carling Cup finals. So what can you say bad about him?
Yeah. Shane Robert is asking you, Liam, who was the funniest player in the dressing room at Blues in your time at the club, and who was the most miserable?
I mean, Guards was the funniest. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I think there's many stories that have come out about him, and it was probably the funniest. Miserable, I see. It's probably Jonty, and
Damian Johnson.
I wouldn't say he's miserable. I certainly wouldn't say he's miserable. He'd probably come and knock me out. But I wouldn't say he's miserable. I just think that's just his persona. He was just sort of a hard shell, and once you got to know him, lovely guy, but he come across miserable, but really good.
And is there any good pranks you can tell us about? Obviously, that you're able to say.
Well, me and Craig Gardner used to hide the masseuse's car every now and again. We hid it one day that he couldn't find it. We actually found out it was his old man's car, and he nearly called the police to come back because he thought he'd got nicked. So the security guard actually stopped him and actually tell him. Me and guards filled his car with sort of snow one day, and obviously started again. We found out it was his old man's car he was driving, so that didn't go down too well. Yeah, it was a few. We used to fill the hot tub with Radox, and obviously it used to just spill out. We used to have a table in the dressing room, which obviously bubbles used to come out. We used to play a game where you slid on your front. Obviously, nothing con. Slid on your front. You had to go through the table, both ends, to try and get through to the other side of the table. And then, obviously, the young boy who used to come in and say, "Stop filling it with Radox." And obviously, we do it again after we emptied it and refilled it the next day.
Chris Browne, could you review that comment that Penny's just put on and just say if we wrote to say that one or not?
I haven't seen it. What's that? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure we can say that one.
Run through your legs and miss your tackle.
No, miss it. Yeah. Sort of like that it was. Yeah.
We got another one, Liam. Steve Jobs asking, after the Carling Cup triumph, what did you attribute the relegation to? Do you feel the manager may have been too negative?
No, I don't.
No.
The one I think I put it down to, leading up to the Carling Cup final, a lot of the boys were playing with injuries or certainly getting through games to make sure I've got into the Carling Cup final or they played in it. So it was a lot of energy exerted to get into it. And obviously when we got there, exerted a lot of energy against an Arsenal team that, like I said, we played man to man. People were going to say, well, that's football and that's what you should be doing. You should be running. But we exerted a lot of energy and the boys went through a lot to get there. So once we won it and suddenly come out of it, I think we played West Brom on the Saturday, did we? The following week?
Lost 3-1, yeah.
Lost 3-1. And I still say if that game had gone differently, if we drew it, if we didn't lose it, I mean, looking back on it, it was just something we just needed to get through. The squad wasn't big enough to be able to rotate everybody. People were still playing and wanting to make sure then we stayed up. So that's what I put it down to. I didn't put it down to the gaffer being too negative because that's we were that kind of team. We were like that all season and we won the cup by doing that. We stayed up the year before by doing that way. Yeah. So it wasn't negative. It was just people would put so much into it, injuries and getting through stuff, tablets to get through games. It just unravelled. And once we lost on that Saturday, the pressure was on. Then it was like, right, you need to win a game. You need to get.
I remember the week after the Albion game, we had Fulham at home and we were shocking. And it did seem to, rightly or wrongly, it looked as though something had gone on beforehand. We weren't quite with it, and it's when Schwarzer nearly scored with a goal kick. Yeah. And did you shed any light on that? Did anything happen? Or
no, not that I remember. I certainly don't. Nothing sort I could put my finger on it. It was just something we couldn't get out of that sort of rot. And you see it even this season. You in Bournemouth, and once you get in it, we'd had such a high, and then sort of once we lost it away at home at West Brom, it was just a graft and a grind. And we still was within a chance. Who could foresee? I think Wigan that came back and stayed up, or that they were 2-0 down on the last day of the season. We was away at Spurs, I think they were, and then they came back. It was just a turn of events, and it was just it just felt like a massive graft towards the end of the season, and I don't think we. No, I know we just didn't have the squad to be able to cope with it, and it just didn't work.
Joys and sorrows.
And
it is.
Yeah. One last fan question as well. Sam Mullet's asking, did you want to stay at Blues after relegation, or did the club want to sell you? And did you want to play more in European games with Blues?
I wanted to play more Premier League games. You know, that's what I want to do. I wanted to play at the top flight as long as I could. I take responsibility for Birmingham go down like all the players did. But the team was so dispersed and it got so, chewed up because of the boys we was all at, 25, 26, 27, the sort of peaks of our career. I'm not going to talk for anyone else. I was at my peak of my career and I wanted to play more Premier League games. And that sadly wasn't going to happen. And that's why I wanted to move on to be able to do that. Now, it didn't happen in that summer, and I stayed at Birmingham, and the club sort of it started to disperse even more. And obviously we got to the January, and then obviously my time was up and I moved on. But I wanted to play more games in the Prem. That's why I came to Birmingham. So I came to Birmingham.
It's a perfectly acceptable answer, Liam. And I actually thank you for your honesty. What you just said there is your explanation of exactly the events that happened. And that's all we expect and that's all we ask is that you come out. And you know something? Robbie Savage did it for us a couple of weeks ago, and made a public apology to every Birmingham City fan. He said he would love to get back onto the centre circle and just come out and clap and say thank you to everybody. Within 10 minutes, this show had sorted it.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. So that's football. Things. I'm not being funny, but I'm a football fan, and other people are football fans. That's what happens. I'm a QPR fan. I say a QPR fan. I was when I was a boy. When you're in football, it's tough to support teams because you may play against them. But I understand it. I get it. I just think if you give people honesty, they might still not like it, but they might respect you for it, and that's good.
You're absolutely correct. Sometimes we don't like what's gone on, right? But sometimes that explanation, especially when it comes out of a player's mouth, right? Yeah. Because it's now in the public domain and it's going out live, and you can't hide behind anything. This is why I was so appreciative of Sav. Man, I tell you what, that was a cracking interview we had with him a couple of 3 weeks ago, and he was so straight with it. He was proper apologetic for the way and the manner in which he left the football club.
Of course,
that left a sour taste on our mouths. But you know what? He healed that rift that night.
Yeah,
didn't he, Paul?
And that's all people want, don't they? So
yeah.
Everybody wants that. A player wants that within a football club. A fan wants that within their football club. A manager wants that, but sometimes you don't get it.
You don't.
So as a boy, did you Park Rangers much?
Go on, Nick.
Sorry.
As a boy, did you go to many games?
My old man used to work around the corner, so that's why I liked him. He's a Palace fan. He used to work around the corner from the Loftus Road, so that's why I picked him.
Okay.
So
did they ever try and sign you, Lim?
No, sadly not. I tried to get there at the end of my career. Didn't want me. I was too old. So oh well.
Too old? You want to start working here?
Just it.
Just going back to the previous conversation, I can totally understand that because I don't think it matters what you do. You've always got to try and perform, at the top level that you possibly can in whatever you do.
Of course, and does it like break my heart that we got relegated? Absolutely. Would I love to see being able to get Birmingham City back up into Premier League? Absolutely. But the team that we were left with, I didn't see it happening, and I wanted to be in the Premier League. I wanted to play, so I took that decision.
It's a work decision, isn't it, at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
it's a work decision. You're at work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's like when Sav said the other week, he went for 10 grand more and to go and play for his childhood hero.
Of course.
It's an understanding. We didn't know that information before that,
No, yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Once you hear that little bit, no one's going to ask him that at the time. And he might not be able to give you that because that's football. That's the way.
Because the mainstream media don't care. They don't care. All they want is sell newspapers, get more and rile more people.
Yeah.
And your story with your with your mate with the toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting.
So one last question, sorry, that I forgot to ask. Craig Courtney's asking, do you still have your shirt from the cup final? And how did you feel when the winning goal happened? And also, how did you feel with Barry Ferguson's celebration, obviously with his little tap on the back of Koscielny's head.
Absolutely, I still have my shirt. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was.
Second question is, can I have it?
Yeah. No, you can't.
I've got a question here from Adam. He says, what English league would you compare the quality MLS to, and what made him end up at Hull?
Good questions. Fergie's clip on the ear was brilliant, by the way. He deserved it. Mate, I compared it to, it's like the good games. Obviously, you're playing David Villa and Zlatan Ibrahimovic and these types of world-class Pirlo, and that's sort of like middle to top-end championship. Them games, they're quick and fast, but some of the other games are probably bottom-end of championship, top-end League One, where you sort of go and playing in, 95 degrees of heat, 97 degrees of humidity, in DC, where it's an absolute graft. The game's slow and it's hard. So that's why I put it at. But it's only getting bigger and better and quicker. So that's obviously that one. Hull was actually the sporting director, or whatever they call themselves nowadays, who recruit players, used to be at West Brom. So that's how I ended up there, which was amazing. Loved my time there. Boys of quality. Matt, Nigel Atkins, learnt a load off him, which was a great manager. So yeah, it was a real good time. Just a long way away from East London. So that was a bit of a shame.
Mm. And who was the best manager you ever played for, Lynn?
Roy Hodgson. I mean, it is very tough to pick a few of them apart, because they all sort of, Brucey, they're all sort of man's. Brucey, McLeish, obviously man's. Caleb Porteride out in Portland. But Roy I liked his style of management, and I look at him, how I want to manage. That's sort of how I want to go about my way of managing. And I took so much from him. So that's why I say him.
Yeah. And who would you say was the best player you ever played with the Blues and against in your whole career?
Against in my whole career, it was Ruud van Nistelrooy, obviously United.
Oh.
Only guy that gave me a physical headache while coming off the pitch. Only time without hitting my head or kicking someone's boot or whatever. Best player I played with at Birmingham. You know what? There was some really good. I mean, like when Joe Hart come, amazing. On loan from Man City. What a goal! Like what a goalkeeper we had. Yeah. And what goalkeepers we had for all the time. Mike Taylor. What a guy.
Yeah.
Such an experience. Then we had Go. Then we had Fozzie. I mean, two like England's goalkeepers. But I think I'd probably say I hate to say it, it'd probably be Kari. And when I see him again, he'll be like, you picked me and things like that. But Kari, I learnt a lot from him. Obviously he was a senior pro, but I learnt a lot from him, and he was a good guy. So
great player.
Probably him, yeah.
What was he like as a captain?
Do you know what? He was everything that I thought a captain should be. And obviously when I captained, I spoke a lot and did that side of it. He didn't necessarily do that. He sort of did it within his actions, or a glare or a hand gesture to Villa fans. So it was he just went about it differently. And obviously great skipper. Yeah, really good. Like perfect time after Damien Johnson. Obviously he took over it, and it was sort of obviously I had the captain's armband within the time, and then Kari turned up, and then so a great person to learn off.
Sorry, Paul. I was going to say, if Joe Hart became available and you were you could afford him, would you take a chance on him even now?
100%. 100%. Yeah. I don't know. I'm either not in football enough, or I'm not in the know, or I don't know what. But I don't know why people. He went to West Ham and he played behind a defence that was not great. It made him look not a great guy. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I get the Burnley thing. Pope was coming through. He's young. I get that, and they're sort of going with him. He's England, and Joe is too old, and whatever they want to say. And Nick Pope's coming through, but I don't get why someone ain't knocking down a door to take Joe.
I was going to say he's absolute quality, and I'd take him tomorrow.
I know I would not.
I don't. That's what I say. I don't know whether I'm too far. I probably don't know football. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So no, I don't understand. It's strange.
It might have been the airspray adverts and the Bozine or whatever it was on.
Yeah, he could have ruined it for him.
It was, yeah. I mean,
Liam, are you still in contact with Steve Carr?
Yeah, still speak to Kari. Yeah, still
send him a
speak to
message. Tell him we'd be desperately glad to get him on here.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what? He's so far. He's like Paul Scholes, trying to get him to do an interview and things like that.
Yeah, but this is for Blues fans.
Yeah.
We're a different breed. We're a different breed to the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
We just all we want to do is just interact, and we're ever so grateful for you for coming on tonight.
Yeah.
And like Paul said, we've got a lot of children listening. We get people listening in Australia. They get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
We get vulnerable and disabled people listening as well.
Yeah.
So it's an absolute pleasure to have you on, mate.
Even people in Smethwick.
Yeah,
and Warrington.
Warrington as well, yeah, Warrington.
Yeah. And they've even listened to tuning to me, so that's even bigger bonus. Christ, it's a good thing. That's what I say. It's nice. It's good, and I think I'll tell Kari it's hard enough to meet him for a beer, let alone get him on a Zoom call to do anything.
It's an hour on a Monday night. He can sit and have a red wine. I'll see you've not started drinking much yet.
Yeah, that's right.
He's in Spain now, isn't he?
It's a blessing to be in a time like this. In the COVID pandemic, that we've got something like Zoom that we can just communicate with.
I mean,
sure.
it's something that's brought a positive out of COVID, where people are suddenly sort of, I don't know, just interacting and speaking more and hearing more, and getting people on that have played for the club and get to talk.
We continued the show all the way through the pandemic every single Monday night, right? And that was we chatted together and we thought, shall we just like knock it on the head and then come back when it all comes back? But we thought about all the people rather than, it was nothing to do with ourselves, right? Because this is an hour and a half on a Monday night that we just love anyway.
Yeah.
And the real reason was for all the vulnerable people, for all our disabled friends, and the charity works that we do and one thing and another. We've got to continue this. And you know what? I'm so glad that we have done.
No, absolutely.
The guest list has been phenomenal.
It really is a great thing.
Tonight, ladies and gents.
It is a great thing.
Look what we're topping it off with tonight. Paul?
Yeah?
Uno to 11-0?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Liam, I just wanted to ask you first, who was your footballing hero growing up?
Oh, so my very first one was Robbie Fowler.
Yeah.
I used to wear the thing over my nose, centre forward, as most young kids were, until you get too slow and you get moved back to every position and you can't go far enough. Robbie Fowler, but QPR obviously turned to Sir Les Ferdinand.
Great play, wasn't it?
Used to do headers with my old man in a swimming pool and try and rise and stay in the air and things like that. So, centre forwards, Robbie Fowler was obviously only one, Les Ferdinand. Obviously, once I then settled down at Villa and started playing centre half, Rio Ferdinand was someone I looked up to and watched and loved.
Yeah,
so it was.
And just to prove it, Liam, here we go. Paul Monaghan is tuning in from Plymouth. Daniel Ruan is in Yardley. Mark Kerr is tuning in from Dubai.
Wow.
Cornwall from Robert Preston. Sparkhill from Stephen Gill. Come on, where are you all from? As Chris Browne says, we want to know where you're all from.
Borsalleith, Sparkhill.
Yeah.
So which London do you live then, Liam?
I'm East London. I'm like round Chigwell way. I'm not Chigwell, but I'm round Chigwell way. Yeah.
That's on the telly, isn't it? On Birds of a Feather.
It is.
Yeah, there you go.
It is, isn't it?
Is that the only thing Chigwell's famous for, really? There's got to be something else, surely.
Only where's Essex, I suppose, isn't it?
Oh, is that
Do
where
you
it
know
is?
Dorian?
Ah, right.
I don't watch it, but I'm that's definitely Chigwell way. It's Essex,
right. Okay.
but that's Chigwell way.
Got a few more. Wheelie Castle, Costerdale, Daventry, Erdington, Breen, Rugby, Southampton, Solihull, wherever that is, Bourneville, Plymouth, Yoxall, Great Bar, New Zealand with
Yes, the Manchester one out.
Isle of Man, Brighton, Queensland, Australia. Keep right on. And it goes on and on.
Costa Cell Daventry just stuck in my head straight away. That was brilliant.
yeah. It's a nice place.
Sorry, where did you live when you played for Blues, Liam? Where did you live? In Brum? Or was it Solihull?
No, I was in Barnt Green.
Oh, the posh bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was literally around the corner.
Bit posh there, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I was over in Four Oaks, obviously when I was at Villa.
Even posher.
Signed at Birmingham. My agent said, "Do you know what, Ridge, you may need to move." And I thought, "What?" He said, "Well, just in case, you never know what might happen." And I thought, "Oh, moving, it's a nightmare." So I thought, "Oh, do you know what? All right, fine, okay, fair enough then." So I just tried to get as close to the training ground as I could. It was like 7 minutes away from the training ground.
Of course it is, yeah.
Which was amazing. Used to get up and just roll out of bed and get over there. So, but then nothing really. The fans are brilliant. Both sets of fans were brilliant about it because of footballing reasons. So I didn't really need to move, but I lived in Barnt Green. Lovely town, really nice. Some great pubs down there.
Yeah, you have to get the bathtub a wee in the sink there, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. You should have done. I hope the people living in it might not say that, but you should have done.
Oh, crikey.
Some great pubs down there, but it was just a bit out of the way, really. But it was nice because it was sort of the top of the M40. To get back south home was a good commute.
And what are your favourite sports apart from football, then?
Oh, well, now it's golf.
Yeah.
Love golf. Hated golf. Hated it before. Never played it at all. Just started it before I went to Portland. Thought anyone that played golf, what's the point? But now realise, it's brilliant, unbelievable. Like you used to love like table tennis. Played that quite a bit growing up. Used to love a bit of table tennis. Do you know what? That was about it. Like badminton at school and that. Loved all that. But really, it was such just football. Yeah. Anything else didn't really, while I played, wasn't really worth it.
Did you ever watch any of the American sports while you're over there? Or did you try and did you argue with them about, the whole football thing?
Do you know what? No, I did watch it. I didn't really get it. Start off with like the American football and, the NBA, but then started going, which every Englishman does, go to an NBA game, think it's unbelievable.
Not me, I wouldn't.
No, but realise you shouldn't go to an NBA game until the fourth quarter because nothing happens until the fourth quarter. Everyone's in the pub. And there's me sitting there watching it thinking, oh, this is good, isn't it? Where is everybody? And I go out to go and get a beer and everyone piles in for the fourth quarter and you think, right. So then you understand. And then NFL, the Sundays were like here, Super Sundays, you get the red zone. So I watched them. I did enjoy them in the end. And the draft parties were even better.
How can they call it football?
I know.
How can they call it football? Huh? Crying out.
Soccer, innit? Soccer.
Sorry, there's nothing worse than American football. There's nothing worse in the world than American football as a sport.
I'm with you there, Nick. You know what?
I'd rather watch dominoes.
When I was in Florida, I asked the bloke that. I said, "Why do you call it football?" You know what he said to me? He said, "It's because we pick up the ball and we run with it. So we're playing ball on foot." I thought that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, call it rumble.
Yeah, that's
rumble.
It's a crazy answer. He didn't do himself any favours.
Did you play against Birmingham Legion?
No.
So I'm laughing at something else.
No.
Liam, could you imagine me at an American football game? He's offside! He's offside!
Yeah. The flag will be thrown up every 2 minutes for you, that's for sure.
Actually, Liam, have you still got that massive piece of like oak tree? Was it wood when you scored a goal?
Wood,
you still got it?
Sadly, no. The old man wanted me to put it in a suitcase, and I was like, it's 25 kg going out the window straight away. I'm not going to get that in my suitcase. One of my friends made it into like it was like a coffee table or an outdoor table in Portland.
Well, at least it's still going though.
It's great. Yeah. So the people living in that house now have just got my face with a cup.
What is it, Liam? Do you think that the Americans, when they're playing their football, can sit in the chairs and take the beers down and and yet we're still treated and herded like cattle? It's
because of the fights. Pure and simple. You know,
I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight with anybody. Can we not have an area where
you
they can
don't?
say,
You don't, but fights do happen. That's the problem. You don't.
I don't. Listen, I've worked DJ
fights do happen. That's the problem. I think the fans there, they go to entertain the players. Where a lot of fans here, they go to the ground to be entertained. So they sit there and wait to be entertained. The fans in America go there to entertain the players.
Different mindset, do you think?
Massively different mindset. Absolutely.
I don't want to fight with anybody. I promise you, I don't want to fight with anybody. But oh my God, how much more would I love to have a pint of beer thrown down my neck than a red hot coffee?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think you get atmospheres would go up. People that didn't really want to sing or sort of shy off, have a couple of beers, they'll have it. And that's what Portland was so different of the fans, because they went there to entertain the players. That's why you get the atmosphere that you get really every single game.
Don't you think that we entertain you as well, like with our chants and singing?
Absolutely,
Birmingham is the funniest set of supporters that I know. I've travelled up and down this country. There's nobody that can match our sense of humour.
Oh no, they certainly entertained. It's just a different mindset what you get in America to England, really.
Yeah. So Liam, should we get on to your 1 to 11?
Just before we get to 1 to 11, Daniel's just said, Liam, do you fancy the manager's job?
Oh, is he on the board offering it to me? Christ, give him my number, will you? I'd love it. Absolutely love it.
Would you take it?
Oh yeah, I'd run up there from where I am right now. Sure.
Do you know what? Nothing more do we want than an attitude like that. Nothing. Yeah. We don't want the wishy-washy football. We don't want the backroom stuff, the boards telling the manager how to run the chuffing club. We want a bloke in there or a woman in there, because I can't be sexist on this issue, who wants to bleed blue and white. End of. That's nothing more than what we want.
I think that is. I don't meet a football fan nowadays up and down the country that ain't like that, and how they want their club to be run. It's gone so far the other way where there's someone telling the manager who to buy and what to do and what.
Ridiculous situation.
Why don't they manage?
I never knew who owned Birmingham City Football Club in 1973 because you never heard his name.
No.
Still don't.
Yeah.
Still don't know.
But you know what I mean, Paul. Look, Paul, we go on social media an awful lot, and we see the comments about certain individuals. Oh God, do you know what? This is frustrating the living daylights out of me. It really, really, really is. Never. Even in the 70s, it was better than this. And I'm not talking about on the field or the team or the spirit and everything. I'm talking about what's going on behind it. And it's reminiscent to me of Kumar days. And you probably don't remember, Paul, back in the 90s. You were far too young then, weren't you, dear boy?
That was when I started going. That was late 80s. Right. I do remember it. Yeah, I was only like 9, 10, 11, something like that. But yeah, I do remember it. And it was bleak times. And I'd like to think moving forwards, if we just change the way it's structured and the strategy, then we could.
We've come on a way, Paul, with the ground and the infrastructure, the main stand, the Ray Hobro main stand, might I add, does need some attention at some junction. But you know what? We've lifted it out of the 70s doldrum that it was, right? Brought it into the modern era. Won a major trophy, got promotion, and then everything has just gone down for 10 years. This is, can I emphasise 10 years? Huh?
Go on then.
3,650 days.
Well done.
10 years.
What do we think? It's looking heavily like Aitor Karanka is going to be our next manager. Now, I don't know whether that's certainly not official yet, but he's certainly the out far and away favourite. What do people think of that? Do you know much about him, Lee?
Karanka, where's he? That's not the. Where's he before?
Explorer.
Forest to
Middlesbrough. Yeah, I remember him from Middlesbrough. Do you know what? I can't even make past comment on him. I don't know enough about him.
That's fair.
Never come across him. Yeah, so it's tough. I know he was a good player for Real Madrid. Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people would like to see. He might have. I'm sure has got the passion to go in there and do.
I keep saying it week after week. I'd love Ian Holloway.
Oh, I mean, that. Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's. I mean, that need you. I think they need someone like that.
He's a posh man's Barry Fry
to get it going again.
What about Lee Bowyer, Liam? What about Lee Bowyer?
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What about if we turn around and said Nigel Clough?
No.
He ain't a Blues. No.
Bo. I think Bo is. I don't see. That's like a perfect fit. Personally, I think that's what it needs. Someone that's been there at the club before, and and that's what a lot of clubs are doing nowadays. They bring the former players back, so they know the identity, they know the way the team wants to be run, they know how it should be going on and how it should be done. And you've got a player that was playing at the very top of winning major trophies at that time. Now coming back to what being a manager, who isn't going to look up to that, who isn't going to respect it, and I think it's. That didn't even enter my mind, so I think it's a great shout.
So we certainly never had a.
Know what I'm drinking, by the way. Oh, sorry, Paul. Ray Hobro wants to know what I'm drinking. It's a little tot of my homemade Chardonnay. There you go.
Very nice, very nice.
Very nice.
I was just gonna say the managers that we've had back that have played for us over the years, going back to Trevor, Steve Bruce, obviously Gary Rowett, we haven't had a bad one, have we? Really, it usually works.
Gary Pendry,
Gary Pendry, yeah.
That was awful.
It's down to knowing the philosophy of the club.
That. Really, yeah. They get the fans in the club, don't they, Liam, when they come back, and that helps.
Yeah, straight away you get the fans. If you're getting a manager in that it doesn't sit with the fans, that's already an uphill battle. And then you don't get it with the players. That's another uphill battle. It's a constant struggle. So you get someone that has been there before, been there and done it. Then you've got a leg up. You've got a point already for you. Then you start moulding a team that the sort of fans like. A grafting team, a working team, players that are going to sort of work hard and do a bit. You chuck a flair player in there as well. That's the teams we had. You didn't have many flair players in our teams.
No.
We had, Zarate, Owen, how many other flair players? Seb Larson and McFadden were flair players, but they still grafted their legs off.
That's a kind word for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not necessarily saying the Blues team isn't like that right now, because that's not necessarily true by all the players. I think that if we're talking about teams of past and what they've been like Birmingham, I think that's what fans want to see. And like I said, I'm not claiming to watch all the games and know everything that was going on with Birmingham. That's just how I see it.
I just think we need a character, right? We need cheering up a little bit, right? We need a lift. We're the only football club that retires a number 22 shirt when your 17-year-old goes off to Borussia Dortmund. We're the only club that can announce that the football manager of that club, or the head coach, whatever you want to call them, ridiculous words, is leaving 3/4 of the way through lockdown. Yeah? That should have been hushed until the end of the season. We'd have perfectly understood. We know that his village has been decimated by this evil COVID-19, right? And we would absolutely, completely understand. But we don't need to hear it halfway through the season. Why can't we, as a football club, start doing things the right way?
I mean, Watford topped you on the manager point.
Don't they?
I agree with you. I think there's some things that, like I said before, maybe I'm too out of touch with football, but it's just mind-boggling. You don't understand it. You don't get it. It's weird. And then things, they don't help the football club. They don't help the players play. Doesn't, we can talk all day, as players saying these things don't affect us. And most of the time they don't. But
of course they do. You're human.
But managers leave and, you go from one style to another right at the end of the season while you're in a scrap. It doesn't help.
What are your thoughts? Sorry, Liam. What are your thoughts on touching on the Jude Bellingham thing and the whole business? I mean, I don't know if you heard, but we've got a mural up, picture of him and stuff. What are your initial thoughts about that? Do you think that's a bit small time?
Yeah, do you know what? It's amazing. It is amazing because what he's done coming through at that age, and being in the team this season, it has been amazing. It's been great. But retiring a shirt, if I was going to retire anyone's, I'd retire Ober's. But you know.
I thought you was going to say. I thought you were going to say number 6 then.
no chance. Keep giving it out to anybody. God, that rolling out. That's right.
Right, Ray Hobro is calling me out. He's saying that he thinks I'm drinking water. No, there it is, Ray, in a gin bottle. My homemade Chardonnay. I'm going to have some more.
Made from potatoes.
Like I said, it's great. It is great for him, and it's great to see that academy producing players like that, and hopefully there'll be more. But retiring shirts and things, I think, you know, it can be a little bit too fast.
Sorry, I'll put my oar in. It was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing to have Villa fans coming up to me in the street here, right? And I live 60 miles from Brum. Coming up to me in the street and here, what trying to... It was tin pots. It was shameful, ridiculous. Look, I love the guy, right? 22, Jude Bellingham, what a superstar he's going to be. Yeah. But come on, let's be real about this. Yeah, he's left us for an awful lot of money, and he's with his add-ons. He's going to bring us some more money in at some junction, right? But to retire a shirt after one season, was it 2 goals and 4 assists? Yeah, not knocking the lad. I'm not because I loved watching him play. I really did. Right. It was. Yeah. I'm putting this emphasis for me is not going on Jude or his family at all. It's going on our football club for making a damn stupid, ridiculous decision, which has made us look like the laughing stock of the Midlands.
Yeah. That's it. I'm the same as you.
I want to, can't
I? Paul, we need to push on, mate, to 1 to 11.
Yeah. I was just going to very quickly ask one live question, if that's all right, Chris.
Go on then, quick.
Paul Lilly was just asking, what does Liam think? Because at the moment, Liam, obviously, as I'm sure you know, we've got Paul Robinson on our, still working in our club, and he's at home on furlough. And, you know, a lot of people do think that he would have been the ideal person to step in for the last 4 games. And also, what would you make of him as the manager if he was to get the job?
I totally agree that putting him in, you know, him stepping in while just interim, absolutely, I totally agree with you. You know, I've not spoke to Robbo for a long time, obviously, and don't know what he's doing managing wise, or I know he's within the football club and whether he'd want it. But again, it seems like an easy candidate, really. Someone that's loved by the fans, someone who loves the club, who's working there right now, knows the philosophy and knows the club. So I don't see why that wouldn't fit the role. But it might be that, you know, the owners of the club need a name, someone bigger, you know, and things like that. But I don't see why that shouldn't happen in Robbo, you know, stepping up to the plate. It shouldn't have been given a chance, that's for sure.
I don't care about a name. I care about passion. I care about pride. I care about commitment. I care about all the things that you should care. Now, if somebody like that, I mean, the bloke's furloughed, for Christ's sake, on 9 games to go, and he couldn't even be on the sidelines. 9 games to go. And what did we win? Was it one of them?
None of them.
No.
We never won none. We drew 2 and lost the rest.
We drew one.
We drew 2 and lost the rest.
Somebody like that who's got the drive and the enthusiasm and everything to pick these lads up and say, come on, lads, off we go. We go again. We don't sit down. We don't sit still. He's furloughed at home. Wow.
I mean, I'm sure the boys would have been asking for him. Sure, they would have been laughing at it that he's been furloughed and left at home.
But what state does that put our football club in?
That's a shame.
I'd have paid his wages gladly. Well, perhaps not all of it.
See, another person at home as well that I think we could utilise a lot more is James Beattie. I think he's still on our payroll.
Is he?
I believe so.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, centre forwards at the club, you know.
Exactly.
I would have loved to have worked with him, and you know, certainly towards the end of the season, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the show tonight, things have to change. I've got to change fast, right? And I'm sorry, right? As much as I don't want to say this, I think the man at the top's got to go, and now, quick, cut him off, get rid, right? For me, personally, I'd bring Panos back in. I know he had his little issues, but I tell you what, he had the club at heart. Still chats to him on occasions, right? And you get Robbo on board, you get guards on board. I don't know a great deal about Steve Spooner's track record, I'll be honest with you. But we want people back in our football club who care, who passionately care about the people coming through the turnstiles. Yeah? And that's the most important thing.
I think Karanka would sort our defence out potentially. I know he's quite a defensive-minded coach, isn't he, Mark?
Yeah, Like I say, I've read on social media this week a lot of people slating him already, but I think he's a good candidate, to be honest.
Well, how many people slated Camp? Only because of what the Sunderland fans.
I still do.
Yeah. I mean,
we're Birmingham City fans. We're not sheep. Get a grip. Get behind people. We've got to do our bit, but they've got to do theirs.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not wasn't Camp's biggest fan, but he's turned things around. I know people still slate him.
He's been a season saver, mate. He's been a season saver, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Different goalkeeper since January.
I'll tell you what a great guy as well within the team, within the squad. I'll tell you that right now. If you're looking for characters and people to cheer people up and actually get into people and, want to win games and things like that.
He makes a worldie, right? Yeah. So that makes him a kind of... I wouldn't put him in the category of one of our best goalkeepers ever, because we've had some absolute stonkers down the Blues in the years gone by. I've never doubted his commitment. I've never doubted the look on his face when the ball's gone in the net. Yeah. He knows that we're hurting, right? And I think he gets it. And as soon as he had that little bobble cut off the top of his head, I think he picked himself up as a player.
I was going to say, Liam, do you know Camp, or have you played with him? Or?
Yeah, I know him from the 21s when we were younger. Yeah, 19s, 21s. Yeah, I've known him for a long time. Great guy. Good goalkeeper, but even better, like in the dressing room, round the ground and round the training ground with the boys.
I love it because somebody in the main stand's got a big cardboard cut out of him.
Great guy.
Yes.
He come in the middle of a goal.
Right, should we get on to your 1 to 11 then, Liam?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
So what's your formation?
It's a 4-3-3.
Okay.
I know. It should be 4-4-2, but I thought, well, you know what? Let's go a bit modern, and I need to fit a few people in. So, So I've got Fozzie. And to be fair, the Carling Cup team. I mean, you can't go much wrong than that.
That was quick.
That's right. Yeah, with a couple of changes, I've got Fozzie in goal.
Yeah.
Stephen Clark right back.
So was it tough with Foster in goal between him and Joe Hart?
It was tough. It was even tougher when Mike was tweeting me, telling me that he'd picked me. Christ, he must have really been struggling. Between Fozzie and Joe, really, really tough. The only thing that done it was the Carling Cup. That was the only thing that done it. Two great goalkeepers. To play in front of them two was like amazing, and two proper good guys as well. Not just just goalkeepers, but proper two solid fellas. So two good guys. Kari, right back, standard.
No brainer.
I spoke about him being a skipper. Roger and obviously Scotty Dan, centre halves. Obviously paired with like Raddy, Jaidi for years. Played with him obviously. Frank Drew when he was there. What
he was very good, wasn't he? Yeah.
Really good guy.
And that Jaidi with his headers, Jaidi's headers were just unbelievable, weren't they?
Yeah. And obviously, it was like a man mountain. Even tiny. Even tiny. What a great. I think the first year I was there, between Raddy and Tiny, they were sort of switching out. So I got to play with them quite a lot and got to know them really well. So obviously, it's tough to go past anyone for the Carling Cup team, really. There'll be one in there, but it's tough to go anywhere apart from them. So Roger, Scotty, sadly not allowed myself, which is disgraceful because it's my own team, but fair enough, that's fine.
You're the manager?
That's right. I've stuck Murphy in at left back.
Good player, very good.
When he was playing left back when I was at centre half, and then obviously I came back and started playing left back, but never sort of did we not get on and things like that. What a great left foot as well. So great guy. And I've got three in the middle. Seb Larson.
Yeah.
What a right foot. I mean,
brilliant
free
player.
Kick specialist. Free kick specialist. I knew him when he was at Arsenal as a boy, actually, when I used to play for the youth system, playing against him, and knew about him then. Obviously, when he moved to Birmingham, what signing and what player he ended up becoming.
He's probably the closest thing we'll ever see at St Andrews to David Beckham, isn't he?
I totally agree with you. Yeah. Like just pure that right foot, just any free kicks, corners.
Yeah.
His free kicks were brilliant. I used to love them because they were whipped in. They weren't floated. They were whipped. They were proper, Stephen Clement's left foot, proper sort of whipped in with pace. If they weren't going in for him, we were sort of glancing him in. And obviously got on with him really well. We were sort of the same age group within that. Me, Seb Larson, James McFadden, Stuart Parnaby. Yeah. All sort of that age, young kids growing up. So we got on really well. Seb. Then I've got Fergie in the middle. Him and Jonty, tough ones to pick. Obviously, only went for Fergie because of the Carling Cup win, but obviously, we'd love to have got Jonty in there as well.
It was a class act. It was a class act though, wasn't he, Ferguson? Brilliant.
Oh, he really was. I think. You know what? The other one really tough was Lee Carsley. Cars. To be able to fit him in because when we needed that experience when we were getting promoted that year, Cars came in and gave us that he knew football. He knew how to win games, and he instilled that into us. And when Cars was leaving, it was like, right, who's going to take that void? And again, goes back to the Birmingham team now, and a lot of Championship teams. Who takes that void of being that sort of controlling central midfielder, that experienced pro? Yeah. And Fergie came in and took that and just run with it, which was amazing. Down from Rangers, what a signing. It was brilliant. Did that for us. And then obviously I got Bo playing on the left of the three, which speaks for himself really, an absolute nutcase.
Great player again. Brilliant for us.
Brilliant for us. Obviously was in the later stage of his career when he came to us, like Kari was and like Fergie, but them moulded with all the young boys fit really well. So Bo, brilliant.
Did Craig Gardner run him close?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to kill me for not putting him in there. But it was
he done his way down, mate.
Exactly, not wrong. Yeah, exactly. If he gets the job, I'm not getting anywhere near it, am I? So I screwed that one up. But yeah, I mean, guards being guards, certainly knowing him at Villa and then coming to Blues, obviously, great guy. Spent a number of years with him, like Larves. I still speak to him now, but obviously, and his right foot speaks for itself. Scored goals all over. Just couldn't fit him in the formation. Then I've got James McFadden on the left.
Wide left,
Wide left or on the right. I mean, these three can just go wherever they want, really. I've got Fadden, Oba, and Zarate.
Okay.
Faddy speaks himself, like one the left foot, set me up numerous of times at the back stick. So perfect player and a great guy. Mario, didn't really know nothing about him before he came to the club and was a shy, sort of thinking, who's this fella? He's thinking he ain't going to run around and do the yard graph. But by the end of it, I was like, we was all saying, we'll run for you. Don't worry about it. You just do what you need to do and we'll do all the running you need. It's fine. You just special stuff. I say, obviously, when we got relegated, not to be able to sign him, and he went on to sign for Lazio, I think it was. Someone to play with. And
Obafemi Martins, obviously is that mainly down to obviously him being the hero at Wembley?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Oba, there weren't too much to Oba. Obviously, he broke his leg and had some serious problems with injuries at his time with us. But couldn't not have him in the team when he's tapped that one in to win the Carling Cup for us. So there's no
didn't tap it in, he glided it in.
Yeah, that's right. There's no way I was leaving him out. That's for sure.
Yeah, obviously you got Super Kev, Forsell.
Oh, I mean,
Cameron Jerome.
Ridiculous. Super Kev obviously knew him at Villa.
Yeah,
knew him like when he was at West Brom. He done the same as me, the other way. Got on really well with Super. Taught me things about what centre forwards used to think of, what they used to do, so I could try and counteract it. Amazing. One of the best finishers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Mikel was brutal. Mikel, when I first got to the club, just what a nice guy. And knew, and once he was fit, could just score hatfuls of goals. Which is a shame. Obviously, he couldn't keep fit really.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm just thinking who could have competed with McFadden on the left. You got McSheffrey, maybe Capo.
Yeah. Chef ain't going to be too happy with me not putting him in there. I'm sure I'll have some stick with him. To be fair, I mean, even Beaudejour. I mean, even he played.
Beaudejour,
played in front of me.
Yeah.
Played in front of me for a number of games, and he was brilliant. You know, and then obviously then he took over that left wing back at Wigan. So they obviously just saw him doing a run instead of me up and down that line, and just thought, right, we'll just get him in. So he was great.
I used to like him. I remember when we went down. I've got to be honest. I thought he would be one of the first to sort of jump ship, but he hung around for a good few months, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Really quiet and like sort of kept himself to himself. But if you like a joke or anything, it'd just be real sort of laughing, just really nice guy. The other one was Palacios. Like, what a player!
Oh yeah,
there's another person I tried to fit in the team. Wilson was just ridiculous. Such a great player. Like another one to have at the club that sort of just you could see his potential and it was going to really kick off, but just obviously due to the club, it just didn't happen. And what a good player! I tried to fit him in, but couldn't either.
You got Fabrice Muamba as well. He was good, wasn't he?
Fabrice. Yeah, obviously got on with him really well. But yeah, it's just so hard to fit. It's just too hard.
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Like,
but this conversation tells me just how many good players we've had. How many good players we've had over the years, during your time there.
Yeah, I think that's like we talked, it's a recruitment and getting players in that's sort of wanted to come to the club, whether it's proving something, whether it's they want to come there and play, whether they were coming there to prove the club that they've come from, that they were good players, or whether they were trying to take another step in their career. And that's what sort of Birmingham have done over the years. And hopefully they can sort of get back to that. And then players, like we say, the caliber of players, that's what you get.
Quite a few people putting on the shout box now. Chucho as well, Christian Benitez, God bless him.
Yeah,
I mean, God rest his soul. What a great guy. Yeah. I mean, tragic. Obviously tragic, and what a great guy. Like another one, real quiet.
Yeah.
So if you got speaking to him in that sort of broken English, like really nice guy, and it just sort of used to stumble off his shins. People would just be like, "What the heck is he doing?" But he'd end up just stumbling through people and just slotting. He just sort of had that pass whip into that bottom corner, and he sort of perfected it in the end. Really nice guy.
Yeah,
such a team though. Very, very good team.
I mean, that's what I say. It's so hard to fit. Like, there's been so many good players that I played with over that period of time. I could have picked 2 players for each position.
I'm sure. 3. Yeah. Okay, back to it. And Harry Johnson is saying they are saying on different sites on social media that franchise has been announced on Wednesday. As far as I'm concerned, I shan't hold my breath until such time as somebody stood up in the cop with a scarf. And Daniel Ryan said, ask you about Benitez. Obviously, we all know about that. We'll just have that one. And
Liam, it sounds like you've got nothing but good memories for you from your time at Blues. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I think I had going there. Obviously, I didn't know what to expect. Because obviously I was coming from Villa. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't. Yep. I'm not a Birmingham lad. I'm not a Midlands lad. So I'm a South London boy coming up there. So I didn't know what to expect. So I went in there sort of not knowing what I was going to get. And I found a club, a family that sort of embraced me and brought me in. Whether that was Brucey giving my captain's armband at the start, whether that was the boys all at the same age that we all got on and hanged about with each other, and the families did as well. But sort of had some unbelievable times there. Even just thinking of training ground days.
From a fan's perspective, you cross the A38. That is, as far as we're concerned, that is the divide between the good side of Birmingham and the dark side of Birmingham, right? You cross the A38 and come and give us your all. You will be part of the family forever.
Yeah,
forever.
I mean, that's what the people want, and that's what I did. I didn't go for anything else, and that's why it was such good times. I say good times. There were obviously some
Good time for us as well, Liam.
But some great times. Yeah, it was some great.
Good time for us fans as well. You know.
Yeah, of course.
We did the big time. We got there. We've been. You know, we're looking over the A38 and saying, we've got some silverware.
Yeah.
You know.
No, thanks, Liam. It's been a pleasure, mate.
No, it's all my pleasure. I really appreciate you asking me on, and really nice to talk to you and talk.
Lovely chatting, yeah.
Reminisce, really.
What can we say, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, it's been the Tilton Talk Show on a Monday night. Thanks
as well, mate.
to Mark Yates.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks to Mark Yates.
Mark Adams.
Mark Adams. I've got my glasses on.
Come on, Liam.
Only got one job.
Yates, he was a good player, wasn't he? Remember him?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He was.
Yates, he's great.
Yes.
Cannon. Absolute cannon.
And thanks as well to Mr. Sheen, one and only Mr. Hipkins. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks again. Pleasure as always.
And from the wonderful Mr. Chris Browne for hosting and for putting it all together. Nice one. Thank you.
Yeah.
From myself, good night. The football season's over. We'll tell you when our sabbatical is going to be. We'll have a little one, not a big one. But most of all, tonight, Carling Cup winner, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Liam Ridgwell.
Thank you. My pleasure. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice one, Liam.
Thank you. Cheers, fellas.
Thanks, mate.
Good night, all.
Night.
Away days are great, but there's nothing quite like playing at home. The same goes for McDonald's. Maximise your home ground advantage with McDelivery. Order now on the McDonald's app. At participating restaurants,